Okay, so once you have the layout of your page that you want to work on, then you have to start formatting the rest of your page. And CSS is really great for formatting text because then as time goes on and you get feedback from your stakeholders that you need to change things, you just change it one place if you're using an external style sheet, and it makes the changes throughout all of your pages. Now, in the last two videos I showed you how to do a basic navigation using divs with a left nav, body, and a footer. And then I also showed how to do one with a top nav, body, and footer. So now what we're going to do is focus on how to basically start formatting the rest of the site. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a background color. So if I actually click down here where it says body, I can then actually click on the new CSS rule, and it comes up, it wants to do this paragraph tag, but I actually just want to I just want to work add a style to body tag in the master CSS. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to change the background color. Now, working from my previous color scheme, this is the basic color scheme. I'm going to actually make the background black. So I'm going to select black and hit OK, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to save all, and I'm just going to do the same thing on this other page, just while we're doing it. And see here, it didn't come up, so that's fine. I can always select tag and body, and I'm going to hit background, just like that. So I'm going to do a file, save all, and I'm going to go back to the first one. Okay, so now working on that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now put my mouse in the left nav, and I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to decide what color I want to do here. I think I'm going to do this one here, so I can try to remember this, BDA77F. So I can type that in here. So that's one way to do it. Another way is you can actually pull Dreamweaver aside, and I can click on this and click on the color picker and bring it over, and if I'm real close I can get it that way, and that actually didn't get it because I wasn't paying attention. I need it right there, nice and close. So I come over, and just like that I got it. So that was a little off screen, but hopefully you saw what I was doing as I was clicking on the color picker, and then I was bringing it over, because you notice that the color picker picks up whatever color it's over. So alright, so now I'm going to actually do the body. I'm going to do the light color, so FFEE7CC, so that's a lot easier for me to remember. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Alright, so now you see, I'm going to do save all, how I've just applied with both layouts work the same. So down here, I'm going to actually do this one. Now footers are interesting. It depends in part what you're planning to do with the footer. Now in this case, I'm just going to actually do the same color as the header. But there are times where the footer might be actually a really dark color or something, because you might want to have it be less of a focal point. And so be aware that you could do something like that. Alright. So in this case, you notice how this black down here, let's make sure this still says footer. So I could, if I don't want to see this black, I could select my container and add a background image or background color. And you notice how it fills in there. So there are a number of ways that you can kind of do this stuff. But now let's go back here to this one. And this is an example here. If I didn't want to do the same color red, I could do a dark color or something else. But for now, just to illustrate the point, this is what it looks like. I'm going to save all, and I'm going to preview it. And I always try to preview it in lots of browsers, at least Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, and Safari. But in this case, I'm going to just do Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is generally the one that you have the most problems with. and I can see what my page looks like. It's coming along well. And I'm going to do the same thing here. And it's important to realize that things are always look different in a web browser than they do in Dreamweaver's interface. Okay, so that looks good. Alright, so now I'm going to work on deciding my type for my page. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, and I could do it with a container, I could do it with body. I mean, there are a lot of ways that you can do this. You could actually set up different font for each div if you wanted to. I'm going to first set up a default font for all my site, and I'm going to go font family. In this case, I'm going to just do Arial. And if I wanted to, I could do a font size. So this is my default, and I could do 12 pixels, let's say. Now, if I wanted to, I could definitely, I could make it whatever size I want. So we'll have 14 for now. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And so this one, if I wanted to, I could play with the body tag and do it that way. But I tend to like to focus on my container tag. And once you click this, if you type a letter, it brings you faster. And so I could choose a different font if I wanted to. I could use to home on this one. And because this one is a smaller layout, maybe I do 12 pixels here if I wanted to. Okay. I'm going to do it. Save all. But typically, I do want my fonts to be different sizes. So for instance, I usually want my footer font to be very small. So that one I'm going to actually click on my footer, and I'm going to add a font. Basically, I'm going to keep the font family the same, but I'm going to actually go down to 9 pixels. So, and if I wanted to, I could decide that maybe I want that default down there to be a certain color, and so I could play with that too. So in this case, I'm just going to use white. I might actually want to use this color cream. Might make sense to work with my color scheme more, but for now I just selected white. So once again over here, I put my mouse in here, I make sure I have my div tag, and I go to font family. I'm going to actually leave font family the same, so actually what I meant to do is font size. Alright, I deleted the previous one, and we'll actually do the color white too. Actually, just to show you the difference, we'll do this color. Alright, there we go. And if you wanted it to be more low-key, actually, you could probably do this darker color, and then it's still there, but it's less of a focus. It doesn't pop as much, not as much contrast. Alright. So now the next things that I would do is I would think about how I want to do my padding. And my padding, or basically the white space around each of because basically I've decided that my basic font for throughout my pages are going to be, at least with this one, it's going to be that 12 pixels or that 14 pixel font Arial. But I might actually want to add some margins around it. And so I could, and that's one of the problems actually probably doing it on the container. But sometimes I decide with different divs, I change my mind. So with this div, I'm going to hit container, and I'm going to add some padding. Now padding gets weird and margins with Internet Explorer, because Internet Explorer just likes to be difficult. But oops, and I added that to the container, which I didn't want to add that to the container, so I'm not even paying attention with what I'm doing. I wanted the body. See, I get talking and I don't even know what I'm doing here. Okay, and you notice that what it does is it just shifted this down. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the same thing here to my left nav, and then we're going to adjust the width here. Alright, so if I put my mouse in here, select here, I'm going to actually change my width from, we'll say we'll take 20 pixels off. But because it actually we'll take 20 more because I didn't account for the padding on the other div. So, and there it goes back, it fits right back in place. But you notice now I have my nice white space, that looks good. The last one I'm going to do is my footer. There that goes. In my footer, I might want less white space, so I could decide maybe I want that padding to be 5 pixels. But just like that, I've done that, so I'm going to save all. And I'm going to repeat these steps over here, and then we're going to wrap up this video. So, alright, so I'm going to add, so making sure my top nav is selected, it is. I'm going to add padding. Body, I'm going to select body, add the same thing. Footer. And sometimes you'll have to zoom in if you find, oh, it's hard to see this. I can always zoom in and do it that way. And just to show you, it didn't like my typo. I'm going to put 5 pixels here just to kind of reiterate that idea that there's sometimes you might want to change up the amount of padding you have in certain areas. And notice I didn't put any padding in the header because I have a banner image there and it would look different. But just like that, we have our 2 pages are coming along. So let's preview them in Internet Explorer. It looks pretty good. And let's preview this other one, and we'll actually do it in Chrome. It's important to really check it out in different web browsers because pages will really start to look differently. Okay, so in the next video I will show you how to set up your headings, and then we'll follow that one up with a video on using classes to change how you style your links. Thanks.